It is that time, everybody. Greetings. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfail, and welcome to the latest episodes of Monday Musings, which is for June 7th, 2021. As usual, I am pre-recording this on Sunday, June 6th, so hopefully nothing super exciting happens between this morning. It's 11:40 a.m. Hopefully nothing happens between this morning and the time that this airs. But yeah, let's dive into this week's episode. Talk about a few things. Let me pull this over so I'm actually looking up at it instead of over to the side, which looks kind of silly. First and foremost, thanks to all the new subscribers. We've had it's just this YouTube channel has always been my personal space, and I never really anticipated it seeing any significant growth. I'm not disappointed with growth. I love growth, um, but I was just kind of waiting for it to come along at its own pace and doing regular content, but a lot of it's just, my Monday Musings show, Mondays in MMORPG, and um, things like my Lotro Cooking in Real Life show, my Lotro streams, and my Project Drama stuff, which is, we're not doing any publicity per se right now. We're just doing documentation. But the review videos that I started doing for games, the Is It Worth It thing, those have proven to be exceptionally popular, and we've seen a huge surge in numbers over the past month. So I want to thank everybody who's new to the channel. If this is your first time tuning into a Monday Musings episode, welcome. This is where I talk about all the various random things in my life. This is kind of like a vlog, a weekly vlog series. I talk about shows, I talk about video games, I talk about books, I talk about travel, I talk about life, and I talk about things that are going on in my projects and in my life. So thank you so much. And to those of you who are new subscribers on Patreon, I know I'm going to go look it up real quick because we've had some new Patreon subscribers this month. Adric was back again. He's subbed on and off over the years. Thank you so much for coming back around again. And Sean Whispers is a new person who joined on the 4th, which was a few days ago. So thank you so much for your support over on Patreon. All of that is very much appreciated. Also, as a side note to that, on Sunday, the 6th of June, I published a blog post over on the Patreon page for everyone, all of the patrons, where my brother and I last Thursday went in and did another round of purchases on the Unreal store. And as we've always done in terms of transparency, we then made a post about all the assets that we bought with links to them and how much they cost and everything. So all of the people who are supporting us on Patreon know exactly where the money's going. They can see exactly how it's being spent. They get an accounting of every single penny that is spent. So far, we've picked up two different rounds of asset packs, plus Christina's tablet and an office chair for Chris. We're not paying for 100% of that with Patreon funds. The Patreon funds are supplementing us as we purchase these things, but every little penny helps, every dollar helps. So thank you so much to everyone who has been supporting over on Patreon as well. It's growing slowly but surely, so that's pretty awesome. And we're gonna wait and see. It's gonna be interesting what the growth looks like here, because starting July, August, whenever we kick off the play testing, and then we have the demo available, playtesting for the tabletop game and the demo available for the point and click adventure game for Project Drummond. Once we start doing publicity for those two things, we actually are going to be pushing to drive subscriptions to the Patreon page, and hopefully we'll see some pretty significant growth once that starts happening. And also, I'm going to start to publish the weekly, no, not weekly, I apologize for that. Monthly, I'm going to start to look at publishing monthly chapters in the Project Drummond Novel 1. Not quite yet. We got to get past the playtest for the tabletop game, but I would anticipate that I'm going to start that maybe September, possibly sooner. We got to get past. I got a lot of work left to do for the tabletop stuff, so we'll dive into that later when we talk about Project Drummond. Um, First big thing of news today is I finished Solasta, Crown of the Magister. I'm not going to spoil anything here. The live streams are up. I did live stream 100% of the game. I did not play it off air. Um, I played it on the normal setting. I only had a few encounters that I had to redo for the most part. I was able to get through every single encounter, even though I might have had some deaths in the encounters. I got through almost all of the encounters without having to do major repeats. The exception was there's this vampire fight that you have to do getting into one of the towers. That was brutal. I did it twice, and I finally succeeded on the third time. And then one of the boss fights with one of the masters, I had to redo. I did it, ended a stream with it, and was like, I'm done. I've been playing for way too long. I'll come back and start it again tomorrow. And then picked up the next session and beat it right away. So I think that was the only. Those are the only times where I actually had encounters that I failed. Otherwise, I got just under, like, literally a few minutes under 30 hours of gameplay out of um, that first run through. I don't know if I missed any side quests or anything like that, um, but I feel like I got my money's worth for sure. I mean, I've said this before. I feel like I robbed the people because I got the game for less than $10. I got it for like $9.50 when it was on sale at GOG during early access. So I definitely got my money's worth. But I would highly urge people, even if you got to pay full price for it, $40, buy it. It's so worth it. It's such a good game. I'm not gonna really rant about it here because you can go watch me, watch the live streams and watch my previous reviews of the video. But finishing Celeste was really cool, and I look forward to going through it again. But it won't be anytime soon. I got a lot of um, other games to play in the meantime. Next up, PS Plus proves again and again to be one of the best subscriptions for me. I mean, it's relatively inexpensive. I pay for it in one blast on an annual basis. I think it comes out to like $6 or $7 a month. Every month they get a few free games. This month I own it on the PC, but I've never actually played it on the big screen. I've played it on my monitor, which I have like I think I have a 27-inch monitor. Yeah, it's 27-inch monitors, which is decent, but I don't have I don't the TV is a 47 or 50-inch 4K monitor, so I'm really interested to see what that game looks like playing it on the PS4. But this month, Star Wars Squadrons um, was one of the free games for the month of June, which was cool. So if you have PlayStation, you should check that out if you don't already own it, because Star Wars Squadrons is a great game. And even though, on playing it on the PlayStation, you're not going to be playing it with a flight stick, it's still highly enjoyable even with just controllers, regular controls. So good, such a good game. Um, I'm looking at all my lists here. Oh yeah. So I took about a 3 week break. I'm yawning because I woke up at 5, went to bed at like midnight, woke up at 5, went for a run, had my shower, breakfast, and now I'm like, it's about time for my nap. Um, I took about a 3 week break from Lotro because I was busy with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition and Solasta. Now that I've beaten Solasta and I'm midway through Mass Effect 2, it's going to be back to Lotro pretty soon this week coming up. I'll be streaming a couple times. But I now have to make a decision because I don't know if I want to go back to the Lore Master or if I want to go back to my Ranger because they're both in Rohan, but my Lore Master is not as far along as my Ranger, and the Lore Master character is on a different server because when my brother and I decided to play this time around, we wanted to try the roleplay server out. So we went to Laurelin, which is the old European roleplay server. And so the Lore Master and the Hobbits and everything else are all on that server. And my brother won't be playing again until the winter because that's how we've played for years. He gets really busy during the summertime, doesn't have a lot of time to play. In the wintertime, he's got a lot of time to be indoors, and so that's when we usually pick up like a 4 to 6 month block and end up playing together. So since I don't necessarily need to be playing the Lore Master because that character was originally just started as a woodworker to stay ahead of the Hobbits, since they're both in Rohan, I'm thinking I might just, as I get back into Lotro now after a 3 week break, I'm thinking I might just play the Ranger since he's further along and just push him through. I played him today, actually, this morning. Excuse me, not today. I gotta remember that I'm pre-recording this. I played him Sunday morning for about 2.5 hours, and it was nice to be back on the Ranger. He's a little more squishy than my Lore Master, but in the grand scope of things, fast travel, teleports, everything else makes it a little more easier to get around. So I might stream moving forward. I might continue my Rohan adventures with the Ranger character. We'll see. Still haven't made up my mind. Um, Slight rant. I do want to have a slight rant here today. which I have ranted about in the past on other shows, but I want to do it here in my Monday's Musings episodes. One of the reasons I was always against putting Saga of Lucemia on Steam was because Steam's stupid refund policy, where they allow people to get a refund after they've played a game for like 2 hours or something. And I'm really against that. I'm firmly in the camp of you bought it, you own it, unless it's catastrophic failure. And in cases of games, it's very rare for there to be a catastrophic failure of a game after launch. There are exceptions to the rule, and we're going to talk about that for a minute. Here in a minute, I should say. But one of the reasons I never put my game up on Steam is because there are people who have a pattern, they have a habit of buying games, playing games, and within 2 hours deciding they want their money back. And I don't think that that's right. There are plenty of ways for you to decide in advance whether or not you're going to like a game. Um, you can watch a stream, you can watch videos of the game on YouTube. Media outlets around the world get review copies, and you can watch these other companies doing YouTube videos and reviewing the game. There are lots of different ways to get your hands on it and preview it before you actually buy it. So I don't agree with refunding a game after you've played it for a couple of hours. But what I really don't agree with is people who play a game, complete it, and then refund it, which is bullshit. Um, and I mentioned this because I had a comment. So one of my review videos that has done really well has been the Cyberpunk 2077 review I did a few weeks back on the PlayStation 4 version, which was a game that had pretty much I think you could fairly call that a catastrophic launch. The product was very broken when it released. I played through it, even with all the blue screen crashes and bugs and everything else, because I really wanted to play the game and I enjoyed the storyline. And I had fun despite all those bugs. And I talk about that in my review. But somebody left a comment that said, and I'm paraphrasing here because I'm not looking at the comment directly. He's like, um, I'm really disappointed because I never got to finish the game. I refunded it, and the refund came through just a few hours before I was able to complete the game, and it deleted it from my PlayStation library, and I can't have access to it. And so I'm just very upset because I never got to finish the game. And I'm like, if you refunded the game, what the fuck were you doing playing the game? End of story. Like, you have no right to complain that you didn't get to finish the product that you refunded, because you said the reason that you refunded is because you said it's not a good game. It's broken. I want my money back. If it's broken and you want your money back, then you have no room to complain that you didn't get to finish it. The fact that you continued to play it while waiting for the refund to come through shows what type of a person you are, and you are a scumbag, sir. You are a scumbag. I do not approve of that kind of activity at all. If you're going to refund a game, refund it, but don't continue playing it. That defeats the purpose of the refund. If you're refunded it because it's broken and you continue to play it knowing that it's broken, and then you complain that you didn't get to finish the game, that's on you. Like, totally against that type of behavior, which is also why, Joey and I haven't finalized things yet for Project Drummond, but I highly doubt we're going to be putting our game on Steam because of the same reasons that I refused to list my game on Steam in the first place. We'll debate whether or not we put it on the Unreal store or not, or whether we just sell it on our own, because Unreal also has a refund policy, and I don't agree with refund policies. Um, that's why I like to sell it directly and control everything on my end, because I can literally tell people who want a refund that no, you don't get a refund. You know, it's not broken. You know, and I can say that it's not broken because we're not going to release a broken product. A bug here and there is not broken. But we also are not a big publisher that's going to be, rushing a product out to completion by a certain date. So anyway, that was my rant for the morning. Let's jump into Project Drama stuff. This is going to be a quicker episode today. These usually go 30, 45 minutes, and I think I'm going to be under 30 minutes today. We'll see. Project Drammon is moving right along. Like I said, new subscribers over on Patreon help us out. Thanks so much to everybody. If you haven't already done so, make sure to check out the Patreon post that went up on Sunday, the 6th of June, talking about all of the assets that we purchased on Thursday before that, which was May 24th. Hang on, I'm looking at the wrong calendar. That was May 27th. My dates are all screwed up. It was not. That was the week before. June 3rd. June 3rd was when we made the purchases on the asset store. So thank you very much for everybody for helping out with that. You can see the full list over on the blog post over on Patreon. Um, we still have about another dozen things on our list that we want to buy eventually, but we're nowhere near to needing them. So we've got more than enough to keep going for the meantime. Um, we actually didn't necessarily need all of the assets that we purchased the other day, but there was a huge 50% off spring sale going on, and it only ran until the 5th. So we went ahead and just splurged on a few things so we could have them in the bag when we needed them. Um, I'm working on the next map right now, which is I'm getting a feel for regional map building because the first map I did was like a parchment world map, and now I'm doing regions, which is I'm actually going in and placing buildings and bushes and rocks and trees and rivers and so on and so forth. So I'm doing the actual map for the village itself, which is the point and click adventure town village, and I'm getting a feel for how those map tools work. And then beyond that, I'm going to be moving into the districts um, for Parthana, which is the city where the campaign module is going to be kicking off that we're going to be playtesting soon-ish. And I've already put the first video up on YouTube, so you can go check that out. I may live stream some of the videos as I get deeper into Incarnate now that I'm getting a little bit better with the tools. I didn't want to do it earlier on because I was doing a lot of Google searching and like tutorial watching as I'm going along trying to figure out how to use the tools. But I've gotten pretty good at the basics right now, and I think I can do a pretty good stream without it being boring. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a post coming up from Chris this week featuring some of her most recent concept art. We haven't done a concept art post in about 3 weeks, I think. So we're gonna be showcasing some of the things that she's been working on for the past few weeks. And um, my brother's had a couple of slow weeks because he had company over and just he had ranch stuff. So that takes priority because there is that saying, make hay while the sun shines, and that's very true when you have a ranch. Um, there are certain weeks out of the year, especially when you get into springtime, summertime, and early fall, um, and they've had to do, preg check, which is pregnancy checking, and a bunch of other stuff on top of having company over. So he's been a little bit behind the times, but it is what it is. We'll see where he gets by the end of the month. But I'm on track. I'm not. The only thing I have left to do with the tabletop game is I need to have a brainstorming session with him and figure out the last remnants of the casting for the Church of the Elder. Otherwise, we're pretty much ready to go with that. All I need to do is add art and maps to it. Actually, I don't want to be adding map stacks. The maps will be for the module, but I'll be adding art to that ahead of the playtesting. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be making a slight adjustment to the Patreon tiers soon-ish, next couple months. Whenever I have time to get around to it. Originally, I was thinking I was going to have all the book chapters be part of the $8 tier, but I think I'm going to move the monthly chapters, not the outlines and all the lore and the concept art and everything, and none of that's going away. But I think I'm going to move the weekly. I keep saying weekly, and it's not true. It's monthly. I will be writing one chapter a month for the meantime in the novel, probably starting in August. I might get a chapter written in July. It depends on playtesting though, and maps and everything else. But sometime here in the next couple of months, I'll be starting the chapter work on the book, and that's going to be part of the Patreon. And I'm just going to bump that down to the $3 tier so that the $3 people get something more than just, once or twice a month getting some. Because it's great that those of you who are supporting at the $3 tier want to help out. But there's really not a lot in that tier other than access to the Discord and the occasional, it's like two a month maybe, the occasional post that I do, like this asset post where I show everybody what we're spending. Um, I'd like to give the $3 people a little bit more, and I think the book chapters are going to be an easy way for me to do that because that's something that's the book chapters will come out once a month, so it's not a huge. I'm not having to put a ton of effort into that, and then we're keeping all the really, all the prep stuff like the concept art and the sketches and the chapter outlines and all of those things are at the $8 tier for those who really want to get into the behind the scenes details. And then the $3 tier will not have the actual book. It just has the chapters that come out once a month. those who subscribe at the $8 and beyond. I believe the $8 tier has a book associated with it. I'm gonna go double check real quick. Um, but that's gonna be coming not now, but soon. Let me double check the tiers because I haven't looked at the tiers since I set them up, and I don't remember what's in. Yeah, for those who the $8 tier says for those who subscribe for at least 3 months, you get a copy of the final version of the digital book once it's ready for publication. So that'll continue to be the case. So $3 tier won't get a copy of the book, but they will get access to the monthly chapters as they're published. So it's really just a slight modification of that first tier, and moving beyond. Um, I think that's going to be it. We're at 20 minutes. I think this is the quickest Monday Musings episode I've done since we started this series, um, which is not a bad thing. So, hopefully you enjoyed. And again, I want to say thanks to all the new subscribers here on YouTube. Thanks to the new supporters over on Patreon. All of that helps. Anytime I do a video, thank you so much for your likes, your comments. If you're sharing it out, thank you so much for all that stuff. And I hope you enjoy what we're doing with Project Drammond. We got some more Lotro Cooking in Real Life episodes coming up. Got some more. I'm going to be doing some more game reviews, but I'm going to be sticking, probably for the meantime, I'm going to be sticking to games that I own in my library over the next couple of months. I think the next new game that I will play is going to be in September, which will be um, Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. That's the next game on my radar that I'm going to pick up. Um, I'm not disappointed that like God of War got pushed back to 2022 because now I have longer to find a PS5 because that's one of the games that I wanted to have a PS5 to play. Interestingly enough, the new God of War is also going to be available on the PS4, so even if I don't get a PS5 by then, I'll still be able to play it and enjoy it. But I'm looking forward to getting a PS5. But I want an Xbox Series X as well because I want to play the new Halo game, but that's also not coming out till next year. So I've got the rest of this year to hopefully find each one of those consoles. So I'll be working on that at some point. But again, like I said, I don't, unless something comes across my desk, like if I get a free game from Epic or I see a really good deal on something on the PlayStation Store or on GOG or something, I don't know that I'm going to be reviewing anything new. I'm going to be sticking to retro games and games that I already own and kind of talking about them over the next couple months. Um, like I said, there could be exceptions to that because obviously I get more traffic and more views from these newer games, like Cyberpunk and etc. But um, in the meantime, like I said, it's not a huge priority for me, although I do enjoy the growth. Um, YouTube is not my only thing, and it's not where I get my money. So eventually it might be where I get my money. For the meantime, I got other things that I do to keep the bills paid. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm going to keep this shorter than usually. We're at 23 minutes, so we're going to get this done in under 25 minutes. Thanks so much for following along. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you get updates for all the future content that I do here on YouTube. Check out the Project Drammond playlist. Check out all the social links below. You can go to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Join our Discord. Pick up a subscription over on Patreon to support what we do. Whether you're supporting Project Drammond or you're just supporting everything that I do between YouTube and there, and you want to just pick up a $3 a month subscription, all of it helps. Thanks so much. Stay healthy, stay safe. I will see everybody in the next episode. And don't forget, in a few hours, there's going to be the latest Mondays and MMORPG episode. This week features Nathan Napalm talking about what makes good game content, I think is the topic. We'll find out. See you then.